Good evening, folks. Last minute betting with the Sports Nuts, the last minute betting show of the internet. That's right. That's us, me and Mike here, with your quick fix for sports betting. Brought to you by OddsJam, the premier odds comparison company. Don't forget, folks, I've got the BetMGM and points bet sign up bonuses below. All right. You got to get there. If you don't have BetMGM or points bet, and there are several people that don't, get in there and get them now. The Underdog Fantasy and Thrive Fantasy deposit match is also there too. There are links below. It helps me and Mike out. We also have promo codes for your first month with OddsJam, 10% off. 10 Bob or Mike 10. Not sure why Mike gets the 10 after and I had the 10 before, but whatever, it don't matter. To distinguish, I guess. Hey, it's last minute betting with the Sports Nuts. Mike, we don't even have, we have one game on tonight, and it's the Colts and the Broncos, and I don't know how much you want to talk about this game, but this is, and it may turn out to be a great game.
Yeah.
It's one of them.
Wow. Well, it could turn out to be a great game for people with bets in it. I definitely have some bets that I like in this game. That's definitely worth taking a look at. I have a few positive EV bets that I'm going to share my screen real quick here to go through those with everybody.
Wow, you're getting right to it, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm going to show the ones that I went on ahead and hit. Nyheim Hines over 8.5 player rushing attempts. Got it for minus 114 on FanDuel. Still, obviously, it looks like you probably still get that value on it, perhaps. So that's one that I liked. I also like the under 21.5 and the under 22.5 first half total points. Definitely not a lot of great value on those right now. Those you see what I got them for as opposed to what they are now. But nonetheless, those are the bets that I'm on in this game. And if you want, Bob, let's go ahead and go to the positive EV page, and we'll just see if there's anything out here last minute that we like that we may want to hit. What do you say?
Well, let's talk about, first off, the fact that Jonathan Taylor's out. Does Hines go over in rushing yards? I'm looking at this from a fantasy perspective here, okay? We got higher and lower plays. Is he going to go over the rushing yards?
What about that? I don't know. That I don't know. I know Philip Lindsay will see his fair share, Bob. So it's gonna. I think it's a little risky to dive into either one of those backs too heavy on player prop.
Then I got another side here, and that is Melvin Gordon, which now the under is a positive EV play at 60.5. I just saw it here a few minutes ago. The under for Melvin Gordon was a positive EV play. Here's my question, Mike. All right. Who's the running back that Denver had that just got hurt and is out for the season?
Yeah, it was Williams, Bob.
Right. Okay. I think, and I caught it this morning, I caught Melvin Gordon over 53.5 this morning. I think that's a good play. What do you think?
Yeah, I would roll with it. You definitely got to worry about Melvin Gordon and his fumble issues. That has consistently been a trend for him. He puts the ball on the ground an awful lot. But there's no doubt that he can get his fair share of carries here with Williams out, and he will likely see his workload be a little heavier. You'd like to think that he will see his fair share of touches, Bob.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm hoping for, because I've got an underdog fantasy play that we're going to go through.
This KJ Hamler over 21.5 player receiving yards. Let's just take a look and see if there's anything we like on this play. Good value on it. Definitely a lot of books are juicing that under because it is the more likely play, but this play does give us about a 50% win probability. I think that I'm going to go ahead and hit this bet, Bob. I think I'm going to go ahead and
go
hit
for
that.
it, man.
There was a Russell Wilson play there. It just went away. Over 1.5 player touchdown passes. Don't know if I was going to roll with that one or not. Obviously, you've got Matt Ryan on his over passing completions. Bob, let's take a look at this play. Everywhere's pretty even across the board. So that minus 105 is pretty good value. It does have about a 52% win probability. With Jonathan Taylor out, Hines and Lindsey, the guys, I think that this has got a chance of hitting, Bob.
Okay.
So I'm going to put 35. I'm going to go with the recommended number that they told me to put on that and go with the 35. Go hit those. So yeah, Bob, those are that's about it here last minute for some Thursday night bets that I'm seeing on the Positive EV page as of right now.
Okay, let's see what Mac Jones has to say. I saw Gordon to lose a fumble was plus 400 today.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. There was also a positive EV play on Matt Ryan throwing an interception. I hit that one earlier. I'll go back to that. I'm going to share my screen or present it, however you want to talk about it, because I'm going to show you an underdog fantasy play too, Mike. Are you ready? Here it is. It's on the screen now. I don't know whether you can see it well enough. Let me enhance it a little bit. Here's my play. It's a 5-leg or 5 pick'em play. Five picks on Underdog Fantasy gets you 20 times the amount of your bet. I put a little $5 bet on it, and I got Russell Wilson under 13.5 rushing yards. Melvin Gordon higher than 53.5 rushing yards. Ashton Doolin higher than or lower than 14.5 receiving yards. Michael Pittman over 65.5 receiving yards. And Alec Pierce under 34.5 receiving yards. What do you think of those plays, Mike?
Yeah, I like them. I like them.
$5 gets me 100 if it wins. 5 picks for $100 tonight.
Let's talk about the game itself, Bob. I think it's worth noting, you talked about the unders trend, right? Definitely a lot of unders hitting in the NFL. Thursday night football, 3-1 to the unders so far. So definitely have to look at that. You got to remember last year on Thursday night football, the under hit quite a bit. You're shaking your head, Bob. Why? I'm
under it already, man. Under 42.5.
Yeah. I think I've got to go with that play. I think we'll go ahead and give that out here. The under's got to be the play. Broncos are 3-1 to the under so far this season themselves. Colts 4-0 on the season to the under. So a great spot, I think, here to take the under. And then if we're looking for a play on this game, I really don't like this game a lot. So this is a little bit of a lean for me. But I would look for the Broncos to bounce back, Bob, even on the spread. You got to remember Wilson for his career after a loss is 29-18 against the spread. 15-7 at home in prime time. So I think that this is definitely a spot if you're Denver that you can bounce back. I'm not high on the Colts right now at all. Matt Ryan stinks. And no Jonathan Taylor. I really think the Broncos have a chance to cover that spread.
Mac Jones says Ryan is a clown. Okay.
Yeah,
now I was sharing my screen before you went to this. So let me go back to what I was doing. All right. So I showed you the 5 picks. All right. In Underdog Fantasy, there is a deposit match up to $100 for your first deposit. Same thing with Thrive Fantasy, up to $100 deposit match. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM, we have the link below. There is up to $1,000 free bet, and then points bet up to, you can get 2 free bets up to $2,000 with points bet second chance. I'm going to go to my bet tracker. Mike, I'm just going to show you this. We have bumped up even higher than we did yesterday. $5,445 in profit this week is getting up there pretty good, but check it out, man. Last week is my best week ever at $638 in profit. And more importantly, for those of you who don't think that you can make money playing or betting baseball, Mike and I have proven it. Some of these bets here are bets we've made on last minute betting, morning coffee, and other shows, baseball bets that we've done. $1,877 in profit from baseball, $1,962 from basketball. You got to be a believer in it. Don't give me this stuff that you can't bet baseball. You can do it. Here was the player interceptions earlier, Mike. Minus 120 for Matt Ryan, over 0.5. He's got to throw one pick, and we get it. And also, I made a couple of plays for tomorrow. We're going to talk a little baseball also here. I just want to throw these at you. These were plays that I found individually. Yu Darvish, over 5.5 strikeouts. Max Scherzer, under 5.5 strikeouts. Manny Machado and Juan Soto, both to have an RBI. Okay? That's my plays. We could belabor this point on talking about this game tonight. But let's face it, are the Colts as bad as they've looked? And are the Broncos as bad as they've looked? I personally think that when you're talking about Russell Wilson being 29-18 against the spread after a loss in his career, I was in Seattle, man. That's a different time. This offense does not fit Russell Wilson, Mike. It doesn't fit him. They got the wrong quarterback in that offense. They need to change that offense to fit him. That's my opinion.
Yeah, Bob, losing Javonte Williams definitely becomes a problem for Denver. I mean, I thought that he was a pretty solid running back. I thought they could lean on him a little bit. Definitely a guy that can get involved in the passing game a little bit too. So losing him really hurts them. And I agree, Bob. I never loved this from the get-go, Russell Wilson coming to Denver. It just, to me, it didn't make sense why anybody thought that Denver was going to compete for that division. I mean, they're certainly still in it. It's not as if they're a god-awful team. But, Bob, I mean, the bottom line here is I never believed in Denver and the hype to begin with in Russell Wilson. I think there's much better teams in this division than them, and it's starting to show.
You got a nice compliment here, Mike. Stephen Batsa, Mike, you're quite the artist. Nice coffee cup this morning. Did you do this clock too?
Yes, Stephen, I did, and I appreciate those kind words, man. Awesome. Definitely decided to get us a couple of nice little overlays for the show. Got a bar down below, that red bar with the OddsJam logo. Definitely could utilize any kind of plugs or anything that we want to put out there. And speaking of which, looks like you're doing that now, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So, we could, how much can you talk about this game? Okay.
I mean, not a lot. I've talked about all I think I can think of to talk about. There's not a lot here. I think I talked about Denver bouncing back potentially. I do like that a little bit. And then the under obviously looks like the route to take. So we shall see from there. Definitely not an exciting Thursday night matchup.
I got the Colts +4 and I got the under 42.5. That's what I have. That's what I've locked in earlier in the week. Those are my bets for today. In the meantime, Mike, tomorrow early, this last minute betting needs to take in more than just Thursday night football. We need to talk about, we got 4 playoff games tomorrow, and they start early. The Rays and Guardians is at 11:07 Central Time, noon basically Eastern Time. Rays and Guardians with McClanahan and Bieber. And what I'd like to do I'd like to present my screen here one more time, Mike, and I'd like to go to. I'm hoping this works. This is in beta mode right now, so you'll have to work with me here because I had a little trouble earlier. Beautiful. Okay, so this up here says screen, guys. You can now look at the money line, the run line, the total runs, first inning money line, and first half money line with every book. Check it out.
Yeah.
Is that not a beautiful thing? So we can look at lines beyond what we have in Illinois. Okay. We know that the Guardians are favored. The best odds for them is minus 109 at Betfair Exchange. Pretty well, we're going to be getting them for minus 115 to minus 20 for the most part. We know that the Cardinals are favored. Minus 102, once again, is the best line we can get there. We know it's going to be somewhere around minus 110, minus 108, maybe minus 107. Once again, Blue Jays also favored at minus 125, and the Mets at minus 141. Now, I'm going to tell you, Mike and I just did Mike and I just did 4 videos. He did 2 games. I did 2 games. I took the Rays and the Guardians, and I took the Padres and the Mets. Mike got the Phillies and the Cardinals, and the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Very quickly, I'm just going to tell you what I'm on. I'm on the Guardians on the money line and the under to hit in that game. And Mike, and under 6 is what I think it was, or 6.5. And Mike, I am on the Padres on the money line with you, Darvish, going against Max Scherzer. Once again, take a look at this, folks. Just look at this thing. This is a beautiful thing to have all of those books at your fingertips at one time, and we can do this in every sport. It's in beta mode right now, but it is a part of the OddsJam scene here. It's called Screen. Just click that. And if we want to get in more detail, Mike, we can always go back to sports, back to MLB, click a game, which we're going to do with the Rays and Guardians, and we can click on the main markets, and now we got the drop down for some player props, and we can look at those. Mike, you know that most of these RBI player props are whether a guy's going to get an RBI or not.
Yeah.
I mean, do you like that player prop at all? I know you're big on strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth jumping into a couple of them for sure. I wouldn't go overboard with them, but I think here and there, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's look at it very, very quickly, all right?
Oh, I didn't really want to look at it.
Well, I'm just going to have you just look real quick. Randy Arozarena to get an RBI, plus 270. Jose Ramirez to get an RBI, plus 215. Do you like either one of those plays?
I would definitely look at Jose Ramirez. I mean, Arozarena, you got to remember he's a postseason guy. I mean, he definitely has put up numbers. But I think if I were to take a shot on one, it'd be Jose Ramirez. But I'd like to give it a minute here to see, get a game in before I figure out if I want to take any of those.
Okay. All right. I understand. And I'm going to get out of this. I just wanted to show a few things to the folks there. I know we got lots
Bob,
of
I will point out, you got to remember Cleveland was 21-8 in September. They're hot. They were never really given a chance. I mean, I expected them to finish at the bottom of their division, yet here they are. And if they get through game 1, McClanahan, I think, is the Rays' best shot at winning a game in this series. If the Guardians, which I think they have a shot at winning this game 1 as well, and I think they will, I think the Guardians are definitely the team I'm looking at to win this series. They were hot. They've got a really scrappy pitching rotation, Bob. It's not as if Bieber's like a dominant ace. I know in the pandemic he was pretty good, but I think that this Cleveland pitching staff is really, really good.
All right, we got comments I got to get to. Jordan says, thoughts on the DK boost for an NFL game? Sutton and Pittman combined 200 yards plus 270. What do you think of that? I had Pittman over 65.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, that one, it's iffy because is Sutton or Judy who's going to be the guy for Russell Wilson tonight? I don't know. How you worry with Matt Ryan throwing the football. I definitely think it's worth maybe sprinkling a little something on, but it's not something I'm too high on. I am high on that though, Jordan.
Let's continue. Yes, Mike is on the Blue Jays. I'm on the Blue Jays, and so is Jordan. And guess what Steven says? I got a new idea. You could call a triple crown bet. One, Bob, Mike, and Jordan all agree on.
There you go.
Yes, baby.
There you go. Well, our Blue Jays are for sure. Our Blue Jays are for sure. And also, I got a positive EV bet. Luis Castillo, under 5.5 players strikeouts. I like this play. The Blue Jays are 25th in team strikeouts. They're not a team that strikes out a lot. They got a potent offense. So I like that positive EV play right there. But yeah, I'm with you on the Blue Jays. They are definitely the team that I think is going to end up winning this series. I like Seattle. They're a solid team, but I think the Blue Jays are able to get this done. And, it's ironic is Gilbert, who I think is one of their better pitchers. He's not pitching until game 3. Boy, I don't know if we get to game 3, Bob. I'm wondering if the Blue Jays don't take care of it.
Very well could.
First 2,
we're back to this RBI player prop. Would you jump on a Vlad Guerrero at plus 215 or 220 to get an RBI?
Oh, 100%. I think I got to look at Vladdy Jr. for some production in this series and at least in this first game.
Yeah. Blue Jays made him some money total on the second of the doubleheader yesterday. Hey, you know what? Cardinals made me money. Blue Jays made me money for a while, then didn't. They had that little slump, as all teams do in the season. And they definitely, for a while, they became an under team. They weren't scoring very many runs at all. As a matter of fact, that whole Eastern Division was struggling there for a while, except for Baltimore, which I thought Baltimore was going to make the move and overtake one of those two, or actually one of the 3, but it never happened. Is there anywhere you can bet on the series, or are you doing one game at a time? You can bet on DraftKings.
Jordan, yeah, I can see that. Let's if you take a look at the Denver-San Francisco game, Jordan, Sutton had 97 yards receiving against a legit 49ers defense. So Judy was definitely the guy they took out of the equation. Judy he only had 2 catches for 17 yards. Indianapolis does have a pretty good defense. So I'm not to say Indianapolis's defense is as good as San Francisco's, but I think a similar type of scheme, and I think you can expect somewhat of the same. So that's a good point. I definitely think that it's worth looking at for sure, especially at that price.
Yep. All right, let's talk.
We know the Colts are going to throw the ball a lot. I don't know that they can establish a real dominant running game with no Jonathan Taylor.
Let's talk about your pick in the Cardinals. And now that you know that Jose Quintana is starting game 1, do you like this?
I do, Bob. I really do. And here's the reason why. Quintana, I think, can keep, your Schwarber and your Harper off balance a little bit. It definitely gives you that lefty on lefty matchup. You can rely on your solid infield with Quintana being a guy who gets ground balls. I think that he's just a perfect match for this Cardinals team. And I think they can keep the Phillies a little off balance. And this is a big ballpark. So this isn't a small ballpark. This is a pitcher-friendly ballpark. So as good as the Phillies offense has been, if they tear it up, they got to really tear it up to hit them out here. And, I think that when you look at the Cardinals, they're a 50-plus win team at home. That's where they do the majority of their damage. They're not a good road team. Let's just call it like it is. They're not very good on the road. They're really good at home, though. And when you look at that, Bob, and you figure the Phillies were 16-3 against the Nationals, all right? They're 70-73 against everybody else in baseball for the record. So it's not like the Phillies are a team that is just absolutely whipped up on the top tier teams. And then you take into consideration, Bob, the Cardinals were 22-7 in August, one of the hottest teams second half of the season. I really, really think, and I'm not saying the Phillies don't have a chance, but I really think I like the Cardinals to get this taken care of.
Okay, and I agree with you almost completely. All right, here's the thing: Wheeler has not given up a run to the Cardinals yet. Okay,
I agree. Okay. I know.
Now, let me finish. I've let you finish. Let me get done with what I want to say. All right. You know, you can look at that or you can not look at that, but that pitcher is coming into that game tomorrow with the utmost confidence because he's only given up 9 hits to the Cardinals and they've all been singles. Hasn't given up a run, given up nothing but singles. So tomorrow is a very key game. Here's the other thing, okay? This is in the Cardinals' favor. They're 9-3 in Quintana's starts. Quintana has not given up more than 2 earned runs in a game, okay? You know that they're going to have Tommy Edman at short. You know that Brendan Donovan is going to start at second base. Their infield, okay, it's legendary with Arenado and Goldschmidt on the same team. But Tommy Edman is an underrated player, and so is Brendan Donovan. The other thing, and I'm going to go to this real quick, Lars Nootbaar is a key to this lineup. If he walks, when he walks, the Cardinals score runs when he gets on base. And right now, he's going to be penciled in at the top of the lineup. Also, Edman took a couple of days off, got his swing back together, came back yesterday and got 3 hits, said it was all in his hips and his lower body. And here's the other thing that they didn't ever consider when we played them earlier in the season. Albert was slumping. Albert is the man now. He is a legitimate threat. That's all I got to say. Cardinals are winning in 2 games.
I'm not going to go that confidently. You know, I think they're set up to get it done in 2 potentially, but you know, if there was a spot, I think the Phillies could get one. This could definitely be it. But you look, Goldschmidt, no, he doesn't have great numbers against Zach Wheeler either. But I think that you can expect him to be able to make some adjustments. And if you're a guy like Zach Wheeler, you know what you've done to have success against Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt knows what you know, he's looked at the tape. He's seen all that. Goldschmidt's a very smart IQ, high IQ guy. I think Paul Goldschmidt can make some adjustments. And I think this Cardinal offense, if they can get going, can somewhat match the Phillies. Jordan, Cardinals over. Definitely worth looking at. I think we could see some runs this series. I really do. And even in this game, I think that first inning is going to be key because if somebody strikes first blood in that first inning, you know, the other offense is going to feel the pressure. And, you know, I think we could see some runs either way.
Cardinals were really good earlier in the year with wire FIs.
They were.
It slacked off here a little bit.
Phillies have been good on NRFIs, truth be told. So,
right.
But again, let's look at both of these offenses. You got some pretty good players.
All right. Finally, I'm taking the Padres over the Mets in game 1. Darvish has had a hell of a year. I think Darvish is going to be the difference in that game. Not that Scherzer's not a great pitcher, but I think they can get to Scherzer. And I think Darvish has the ability. That's why I went with his over strikeouts, and I went with Scherzer under. Scherzer has been hurt a little bit this year. I like the Padres to win. I caught it at plus 130 today on the money line.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't mind you going there. You know, the Mets definitely look like they've been, even a team with 100 wins, it's definitely been kind of sloppy for them as of late, blowing that division lead to the Braves. But, Scherzer does have pretty good numbers against the Padres. It's tough. It's definitely tough here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, folks, we're going to end it. I got a football game to watch. I don't know about you. I got to win some money.
We all do. We've all got bets in this game, Bob. You think it's just you?
Yeah. BetMGM points bet sign up bonuses. Get them. Underdog Fantasy, Thrive Fantasy. Get them. Let's do it. You guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Bye, Jordan. Bye, Steven. Bye, Mac. You get better.